Hi everybody, welcome to Absolute Sound again. I'm doing a little video today on some vintage receivers from the 70s. I think it's Pioneer SX version. This is a Marantz 22 series, very popular. These are two of the most popular ones out there. And anyway, and behind the camera is Angela-Gilbert Yeung. Anyway, we all love the sound of these rich sounding old receivers, and the reason is, versus today's components, the potential. And the reason there's potential is these are all pure analog devices. They use switches and potentiometers, which is like your volume control, your balance control, all the pots. I can see in the back here, these things are all heavy duty metal and very ruggedly built. They were overbuilt. This is part of the mid to late 70s receiver war that the Japanese had to try and gain market share over here and sell us wonderful pieces of gear, and we all know how well they're built, and most of them are all working, and if not, they can be repaired, so they have a ton of potential. The circuit lines inside them, you'll see in the boards, are curved and thicker. Everything's bigger built. It's not made to be cheap or made by accounting that said keep the price as low as you can. They made it to sound wonderful and beat the competition. Something that's not done as much today in the industry. And as you thin out the today's gear, and now we're 2023, and we're making things that are still very good sounding, but not like this. So Angela-Gilbert Yeung was like, what can we do to improve these? And we do it to our own gears, but sometimes we've neglected letting you know how important it is with these vintage items to add energy to them. So you see inside here, you'll see two little capacitors. So you got your transformer, a big transformer. These capacitors are direct current energy. This is voltage. This hits the signal and helps the outputs that are on our heatsink down in here. There's two big op amps in this particular model. A heatsink back here, and this is the limit of the this voltage tells this how much wattage. This sustains the musical signal that's bouncing all around up and down violently, that needs direct current energy that can't come out fast enough from here. So to make these sound better, we add a component at the back. You'll see a little connector, and it's called a Nutrix PowerCon. Basically, it's just a snap-in lock connector that allows for the conduit we've soldered in to go directly to the capacitor bank. So you know, people will take and replace capacitors. People say, you got to recap these old things, because these things after 10,000 hours will now have ripple when you measure them. And that's partly true, but it's really just a way to get you into more money in a repair. And yeah, it can change slightly. You're moving the needle a couple of points. But what you really should do is do this, where we've put this connector in this. That means we can add boxes similar to this. This is called Angela-Gilbert Yeung's FCF, Fab Cap Finute. And we make these in all kinds of varying sizes. But when I open this, we'll see inside the hood. And I would do the same thing to the Marantz. You'll see the Marantz on the back also has that same connector. This is my Marantz from Little Boy. And when I put this device on it, you simply can snap this in. And this connector has a lock on it. And it allows me to, I don't know which way I'm going. Here we go. There, now I'm connected. So I've connected more capacitance inside to sustain the output transistors, getting more energy fed to them. And they fill in the holes in the music. And it's very, very important. So let's look inside one of these FCFs and see what we made. I shouldn't say we. Angela-Gilbert Yeung made it. And I'm just extremely lucky to be part of it and to represent this. And we sell this for a lot of our gear. So what do you see here? You see a connector and you see tons of capacitors. Obviously more than the two that are inside the unit itself. So this is like adding the energy of the sun to a regular component, and trust me, it transforms the sound of these things immeasurably. They still have the character and sonic signature because the line stage, the board stage inside and the switching and all of the sonics that were built by very educated men in the 70s that were all older by then. Some of these guys were pre-war, and they've really put a lot of effort and knowledge into what happened here. When you add this kind of energy, you do transform the output, and it sounds like real good hi-fi that you'd spend thousands of dollars on. So our first one of these is about a $1,100 piece. That'd be the first section. That's basically the size of it. This is called an FCF2. It's a double section. But you'll see in it relays, and you'll see a timing circuit that allow our main transformer to charge all of this capacitance and in support of and linked to in this main capacitance, and you get abundant energy and beautiful sound quality that does absolutely no damage to the transformer, rectifier, bridge, and regulation inside here. This is all supported with perfect health and tons of energy, and you've got to hear it to believe it. And we want to let people know out there that have pieces like this that they really enjoy or they cherish, that if they want, they can bring them into us, and we can add a single one of these. And absolutely everybody I've done it for, it's mentioned it as a jaw-dropping improvement, excuse me. You've got, each you'll see in here has a bar in the center. You'll see bars in the center, 14 gauge wire. So when you take capacitors in the past and you have thin wires like this, you see all the thin wires that are in all these little devices? And you have thin little boards in here, that would constrict the flow of energy. And the first step in music, the first few milliseconds, is everything. How it gets off and how much sustained power we have. When you do it with heavy gauge all the way through the unit and bring it to the receivers, you're inducting, you're not pushing. This doesn't push itself in. It's a requirement that these transistors draw, and they need this. So when we have heavy gauge and direct point-to-point wiring on all these capacitors and all this energy, we get to the output transistors we need quicker. That isn't something an industry or a plan with accounting and tons of employees can do. This can only be done by someone who loves it, has vast experience, and builds by hand. You'll also see some silicone in here that's very soft. It's 40 durometer. Everything inside of a FCF is damped with 40 durometer silicone because vibration's a major component and a detriment to sound. We float turntables, we float amplifiers, we put them on isolation stands. In here it's done for every component. You'll see the resistor bank in here, you'll see the back wiring. All of it is damped so that it's a little more fluid, a little more elegant. So anybody who wants, give us a call and email if you feel like it. We can walk you through it. We should do more of it. We don't really promote it a ton, but it's a wonderful thing to do, to something you cherish, and it'll save you ever wanting to buy expensive hi-fi again. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Got some pretty cool receivers here. Bye.